And we are live. What's going on, everybody? I am Adam. This is Open Late. And today we are going to be opening the Super7 Ultimates Mondo Gecko. This one came out a while ago. I don't even know how long ago. I got into the Super7's Ultimate line late. Um, Thanks to eCollectibles.ca. Mike at eCollectibles was kind enough. I said, I'm thinking about getting into the TMNT Ultimates. But there's a bunch that I want. I'm worried that I'm going to miss out on one or two or whatever. I couldn't afford all the ones I wanted when I decided to get into it. But Mike was kind enough to basically say, give me a list of all the ones that you want. I'll set them aside. And I've been sort of picking up one per shipment for the last, however long it's been. I mean, what was the first one that I got? I think Raphael was the first one that I got, and I got all four of the turtles. I got the Shredder, I got Bebop Rocksteady, and Mondo Gecko was one of my absolute favorite vintage figures. I got the figure secondhand, and I didn't even have the skateboard. I just had Mondo Gecko, the cool skateboard Gecko with braces, like such a 90s character, such a 90s sort of vibe. Um, and I kind of feel like, Mondo Gecko is one of those characters and one of those figures that like is hit or miss. Like I think that some people absolutely love Mondo Gecko and other people are completely turned off and sort of think that he's one of those throwaway characters or whatever. But I genuinely love the design as a sort of kid in the 90s. It was one of those figures where a skateboarding gecko with a backwards hat, like he's just cool. Anyway, let's jump into the comments very quickly, and then we'll get this guy out of the box. Master Versal Toy Hunter is here. Star is hanging out. Cobweb Collector, hand pink waving. I don't know if if that's an emoji that you put in there, or if that's just how StreamYard is showing the emoji. But I think you do that all the time. So I think it must be on purpose. Star says the music, feel like I'm hanging out with the bartender talking politics all night. A little bit, I suppose. Hate the Drakes. I can only assume this is a family member of mine. Saying 501 subscribers. Yes, thank you to all you guys. I hit 500 subs earlier today, so that's a pretty big milestone. I told you guys before, I thought if I could hit 100, that would be that would be pretty impressive. And here I am at 500. So wow. I feel like I need to take this more seriously now, but maybe not. Eddie is here. What's going on, Eddie? He says congrats. This must just be how, or sorry, the comment. This must just be how StreamYard sort of shows the emojis. I don't know if it shows it on YouTube or not, but I'm pretty sure what you're gonna see on YouTube is gonna look like that. So I don't actually get the emojis. Some of them I get and some of them I don't, but let's see. Cobweb Collector, here's a real wave for you. Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, well, let's take a look at this guy. As I said, Mondo Gecko. All of these Super7 Ultimates have, a sewer manhole cover that is specific to the figure, specific to the character. This guy's got skateboards, and then there he is with his tongue out, braces and all. Mondo Gecko. On the back, of course, we just get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. In these, now they feel sort of generic packaging. because we've seen so many of them and they haven't changed it, but I still like it. I still like the green for the good guys, the purple for the bad guys. And I love the packaging here. Big open window box, so you can see everything that's going on. You got sort of the brick sewer kind of look to it. On the back of the box, as usual, we get the bio for Mondo Gecko, which you can feel free to pause and read, but I'm not going to because I never do. Because I'm more excited to get this guy out of the box than I am to sort of hang out and look at the box itself. So let's go ahead and do that. They are all really big boxes. They are. I mean, I'll admit the boxes are probably bigger than they need to be, but I'm okay with that. As is always the case, we've got the double tray. So the main tray with the figure, and then the back tray with all the accessories. So in this case, the back tray is the hands and the skateboard, and then the front tray is Mondo Gecko himself. Oh my goodness, this one won't come out. I haven't opened a Super7 in a while. I feel out of practice. I'm so spoiled by SH Figure Arts that just pop right out without any work. Oh man. There we go. All right, we'll get this guy standing up. We will take a look at the accessories. I'm quickly going to adjust the camera because he's much smaller. Like I said, you get the figure that's, 6 inches tall or whatever, in this box that's just absolutely massive, especially once you get him out of the box. For in-box people, they look great, but it's a whole lot of box for a relatively small figure. Come on, this does not want to. Oh, the angle's terrible. I never claimed to be a professional. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so as far as extra hands, we always get extra hands from Super7. The Gecko makes sense that he would come with these big sort of open hands. I'm thinking these are sort of like gripping hands, so we could sort of wall climb or something like that. We get a fist and a hang loose. The hang loose hand is pretty cool. I like that. It's a fun addition. And then we get some just normal gripping hands. The skateboard, which looks virtually identical to the vintage one. It's upsized a little bit. The is this a deck? No, this is painted on. It's actually a paint app on there. That's really quite impressive. They've done a good job. It's like a 4-color screen there, so that's pretty nice. I'm quite impressed. Sewer Surfer Mike had a sticker on his, so it's a little bit surprising that that's paint. They've done some metallic paint on the back end there as well. I would have liked to have seen, some paint in the exhaust tubes, I guess, there, but I'm okay with that. The bottom is fully sculpted as well, which I'm pretty sure the vintage version was not sculpted like this. And there's some metallic paint on there as well. So pretty impressive. I think it might have made a little bit more sense for it to be wider, but I can't remember the vintage one very well. Like I said, I didn't have the vintage skateboard. So I'm not sure if that's, exactly the same as the vintage skateboard or not. Then, of course, we get the alternate head. So Super7 almost always does an alternate head. The vintage head is the one that's on the figure. But in the box, we also get this a little bit more animated, open mouth, the tongue sticking out. He's got a little bit wispier hair on this one. Like I mentioned, the backwards cap as well. I'm torn because the vintage head is really, really cool, but this one is a lot of fun. So I'm torn. I don't know which one I'm going to use for my display personally, but I can change it up. I can put one on and change my mind after a couple days and mix it up if I want. Because it's mine. It's my toy and I can do what I want. That's how it works, right? All right, before we look at the figure, let me just quickly jump back into the comments and see what's going on. What are you guys saying? Star said this guy's from the Turtles. He is indeed. He appeared in the cartoon. There's a version of him in I think every version of the cartoon as well. But the vintage figure was really for myself with Turtles, it was the vintage figures that was sort of my primary source of like knowledge and experience with them. So as far as the backstory to Mondo Gecko or anything like that, I genuinely don't know it. I just absolutely love Ninja Turtle figures. Cobweb says Mondo skateboarded all over my house as a kid. Yes. Allison Troy is here as well. What's going on, Allison? Star says classic child-proof packaging for toys. Certainly wouldn't want them falling into the wrong hands. Yeah, this Super7 packaging especially is bad, but if it has an engine, does it still count as a skateboard? Sure, it does. It could be, a rocket-fueled skateboard. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Reptiles don't have hair. What kind of stuff is Super 7? Well, it's not Super 7. That's a Playmates thing. Mondo Gecko, always had hair. But let's take a look at the figure itself. This is straight out of the vintage figure. Like it feels virtually identical to the vintage figure. Now I'm probably gonna have to heat it up because that is gonna bother me. The way that it's come out of the package, like his chest should be sort of more centered. And then, okay, there we go. There we go. That's a little bit better. The yellow t-shirt with the graphic. You got to love that graphic. The skateboard and crossbones, one eye in the skull. The paint apps on this are really, really nice. There's a really nice wash to the skin so that it's not just, a solid green color. The shorts, a very, very vibrant purple. He's got his knee pads, very ineffective knee pads, I would suggest, with a spike on one and a skull on the other. His high top sneakers, as always. The braces, painted with a little bit of metallic, is a very nice touch. As I said, the head sculpt looks really, really good, and the paint apps are really good on that. He, of course, gets the roller skate on his tail because when you're a gecko, you don't want that thing dragging on the ground as you're skateboarding along. And yeah, the only complaint that I have is that the yellow on the top of the t-shirt, I believe, is green. Like I think it's green plastic, the same as the skin here, and then they've painted yellow over top of that, so it's not consistent. It's it doesn't feel super solid there. Yellow is notoriously difficult, where this piece I think is yellow, or at least the paint that they've used is much thicker, much heavier. On the sleeves, it doesn't look as solid, and I don't know if it's going to pick it up on the camera there. And honestly, it's going to look perfectly fine on the shelf as well. The yellow looks great. It's a match to the shirt. It just, you can kind of see the green creeping through a little bit. But like I said, I don't think it really comes through. So, from a distance, you're not going to notice. It's more of a nitpick on my end. As far as articulation goes, we get Super 7 articulation, so it's not good. The leg band's a little bit less than 90. There's a little, well, his ankle's not bad compared to some others. There's a little bit of rocker there, not a lot of rock. Back and forth is decent. And then it pivots at the hip as well. He's got that waist articulation, which I already showed. The arm will probably go all the way around. I don't know why you'd, yeah, it goes all the way around. I don't know why you'd ever need that. Single joint at the elbow goes really only to about 90. And then you've got rotation and a pivot at the wrist. The head, you can spin it around, but there's not much tilt. You can't look up, you can't look down. Just the way it's designed. And this one's the same thing. There's not going to be much as far as articulation in the neck. But that's to be expected. I've said this before, and I stand by this. I genuinely don't buy these for the articulation. I'm not worried if these are like super articulated action figures. I need this to articulate as well or a little bit better than the vintage ones. Because for me, these are all about fun. These are all about, the vintage action figures that I remembered as a kid in a slightly larger scale with better paint apps and slightly better articulation, so they can sort of hit the poses that I always wanted them to without falling over. The turtles I found were like notoriously bad for falling over because they were 5 POA, but they were sort of pre-posed, so it was hard to get them balanced. These guys balance pretty well, and so I'm genuinely not that concerned. I don't need. I mentioned SH Figure Arts. I don't need SH Figure Arts import level articulation on these things at all. I need them to look cool and be updates to toys that I loved as a kid. And they are 100% that. And this guy is a perfect example of that. This is an upgrade, in pretty much every way. I think the vintage figure literally came like the figure with the skateboard. So to get the extra hands, to get the alternate head, to me, this is a win. The Super 7 Ultimates aren't for everybody. I will say that. I know that for some people they want better articulation. The consistency in some of the quality control is not necessarily there. But like I said, for what I believe Super 7 is trying to do with the Ultimates, these things are phenomenal. They're fantastic, and they're well worth it if that's what you're sort of looking for as far as your collection goes. Star, does it feel very solid? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's solid. It's a good, solid action figure. I've said that before, that it feels like a vintage action figure in a lot of ways. Whereas with some modern stuff, I'm worried about my kids playing with them a little bit too aggressively. These are action figures like we remember from our childhood, and by that I mean, they're durable, they're built well, they're pretty strong. I I'm not a huge fan of NECA because I feel like NECA doesn't make toys. NECA will tell you that they don't make toys, but they're not as robust as I would like action figures to be, because I play with my toys. I say all the time, I'm not a collector. I am somebody that buys a lot of toys. Super 7 fit that bill for me. So Bishop says, Mondo Gecko was my favorite figure growing up. I completely missed that this was an Ultimates release. Still available. I mean, this is one of those ones where I think in the chat, there's been a couple people that said, they absolutely love Mondo Gecko, but there's definitely people that just don't like the character. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me because I was the same way. Absolutely love Mondo Gecko. Um, Now, just for a quick comparison, he is a little bit smaller than some of the other figures that we've seen in the Super 7 line. Just for example, I've got the Super 7 Ultimates Michelangelo here. And in the same way that that the vintage stuff does it, like the proportions are kind of weird. Like I feel like a Gecko, like his head feels big but his body feels small, so he doesn't feel like he's quite in the same proportion. It feels very much like the vintage stuff where you have to kind of use your imagination. There's a little bit of creative license as far as proportions and things like that go. Now, as far as a figure that I think kind of matches up with Mondo Gecko very well, the Sewer Surfer Michelangelo, I think, is a better example. And when you put these guys together, the proportions seem right. The vibe feels right, and again, these are fun. These are fun action figures, and I absolutely love these. I've still got more. There's still more on in the order, and there's still more fun to be had with these Super 7 Ultimates from in the TMNT line. The Triceraton I'm really excited about. The Neutrino. We're getting Zach the Neutrino. And so on. I still want Rat King. I still want a bigger Krang android. But yeah. Let's see what you guys have to say. Star says, I stopped buying NECA a while ago. Beautiful sculpt, but lousy material and terrible construction. At one point, I had more broken NECAs than NECAs intact. No more. I'm done. I've heard that about NECA. I've heard that they're sort of notoriously flimsy, I guess, is or they don't hold up. They just don't hold up. They pose great. They like you said, the sculpts are fantastic. I just need my toys to be toys, and so NECA is just not a go-to for me. I do have, as example, I do have the last Ronin figures, and they're great figures, and they look amazing. But they aren't going to be toys that I reach for, when it's time to play with the kids. So. Bishop, I do remember Mondo being shorter in the old line compared to the Playmates Turtles back then as well. Picking this up at my go-to store ASAP. It's a great figure. It really is. And it's if you like Mondo Gecko, this is a very good representation of that vintage figure. All right, guys, just a very, very short video today. I'm only opening one figure. That is somewhat by design. I have a splitting headache, and I'm pretty much ready to go to bed now. So I'm going to do that. Again, thank you to everybody for the subscriptions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I've got more stuff to open. I've got more guests to talk to on the Sunday videos. I have more stuff to unbox. I'm doing. I got to record another video right after this to get another video out on the channel. But 500 subs. I am so appreciative of everybody that watches, everybody that tunes in and checks the channel out. And I appreciate your likes and your comments and the interaction. To that point, the 50th episode of Highly Articulated will be on Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I will be doing a couple giveaways. More details on that probably on Sunday. I thought I would be able to sort of get it all organized and sorted out in time for Sunday. I think I'll probably just sort of announce the details on Sunday and then just do a separate little video for the giveaway itself. And I'm gonna do a giveaway on Highly Articulated as well as on Monkey Business, and so stay tuned for more details on that. But it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been fun hanging out with you guys. As I always say, it is way more fun to open toys with friends. So thank you for joining me. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. But I mean, 500 of you have. So thank you for that. If you don't want to miss any video drops, hit that bell icon, and you will get the little notification when new stuff is coming down the pipe. So good night to everybody. Until next time, bye bye.